Hello, this is the second unit video from section number 1. It's a continuation of the first unit. In that way, in this unit, we will start looking at addition of whole numbers. This is some fairly simple material. It's also a rather short unit. Let's go over to my whiteboard, so to speak, and get started. Taking a little bit a while to sync up here. Here we go. Okay, this is unit 2, section 1, adding of whole numbers. The objectives here are to describe how to add numbers less than 10 and explain how to add numbers greater than 10. So not an awful lot of material is going to be covered. So this is going to be a fairly short one. We will do some practice problems at the end. I repeated the number line from unit 1 because we're going to use it to show how to do this first addition, or at least how it looks if you did it on a number line. This is the first example in this unit, adding 5 hours plus 3 hours. Notice that these are units or numbers with units. And since these are fundamental units of time, these are what are called denominate numbers. And notice we're adding hours with hours, and the results are therefore going to be hours. Hours plus hours gives you hours. The rest of the addition, of course, is the numerical part of the addition, the 5 plus 3. So let's show how that looks if you do that on a number line. If we start out at the number 5, which is the top number in the addition, and we go an additional 3 spaces in the positive direction, we plop down here right at number 8. Notice there are 1, 2, 3 spots, or 3 slots between 5 and 8. So that's equivalent to taking 5 and moving 3 places, or 3 numerical places, in a positive direction and getting a result of 8. And of course, it's no surprise, I'm sure, to anybody that 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. And the rest of the result, of course, is the unit hours. So the correct answer to this addition would be 8 hours. The second example, also adding some single numbers, but we get a result that's too big to express on the number line that we've got. So we'll just do this one without the number line. Very quickly, 2 plus 4 plus 8. The sum of those is, let's see, 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 8 is 14. That's actually 4 with a carry of 1. And that 1 is carried into the tens column. Each one of the 2, 4, and the 8 are in the column that's worth 1s. Remember the positionally weighted system. That rightmost digit, but still to the left of the decimal point, of course, has a weight of 1. So that 1 that's carried is carried into the tens position. So that becomes the number of tens, because that's added to all the tens digits in the other numbers, and there are none, so they're all zeros. So there's a 0 in front of the 2, 0 in front of the 4, and a 0 in front of the 8 in the tens position. And when we add 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, we get 1. So the answer is 14. And this answer has absolutely no units on it, so it's abstract. So this was an example of showing how to add more than 2 numbers together, and also what to do when you generate a carry. The third example here is 212 plus 96 plus 5. And I already got the carries written up there. But to do the addition, we start at the rightmost column of digits. That is to add the 2, the 6, and the 5. 2 plus 6 is 8, plus 5 is 13. So that's 3. And a carry of 1 into the tens column. So we now take that 1 carried into the tens column, add it to the 1 from the 212 in the tens column to get 2, added to the 9 in the 96, because the 9's in the tens column. So 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 9 is 11. So that gives you the 1 and the carry of a 1. And now we've got a carry of a 1 plus the 2 in the hundreds position in the number 212, and there are no digits in the hundreds position in the other two numbers, so 1 plus 2 gives us 3. So that gives us an answer of 313. So that's also just an abstract number, no units associated with that. So here's our first example that actually shows something that might be kind of useful. This is a drawing for some sort of a cutting tool, and it shows all of the relevant dimensions. It even shows straight dimensions of cylindrical barrel parts. It shows chamfers where the radius of the cylinder necks down or necks up, depending upon which way you're looking at it. And it also shows the chamfers out to the cutting point. It shows the diameter across that major, or that across that cylinder that's right in front of the cutting point. The problem we're asked to find, though, is to find the overall length. What is the overall length of this part? So from this drawing, what we have to do, assuming length is what we would get if we looked at this part left to right, as opposed to up and down. Length is normally considered the longer of the two dimensions of between length and width. Length is usually considered the longer one. So we're looking to add up all the numbers that go from one extreme end of this part to another extreme end. And it looks like we've got a bunch of dimensions along the bottom that we can add up that accomplishes that. From the far left end of this part to the end of the first chamfer, we've got this dimension, which is 11 millimeters. And then we pick up from that same dimension line, we go another 21 millimeters. It goes to the start of the next chamfer. And picking up from the other side of that same dimension line, 22 millimeters, over to the end of that next to the last chamfer. And then finally, from the end of that last chamfer, the length of that barrel is 7 millimeters. And then finally, to get out to the tip of the cutting tool, we've got 5 millimeters. Notice the 5 millimeters is not written inside or between the dimension lines. It's written outside. And that's literally because there's just not room to write it in there. So this is a standard way of showing a dimension inside of two dimension lines that are too close to actually show the dimension inside. Okay, so we've identified all those dimensions. The 11 millimeters will be the first one. Stack up there. The 21 millimeters will be the second dimension. We're going to add all these numbers together. So we're arranging them in columns, lining up the columns so that all of the ones positions line up, all of the tens positions line up. 22 millimeters. That's there. 7 millimeters. Right there. And then finally, this 5 millimeters goes on the bottom. So we've taken into account every single dimension that gets us from the very left end of this cutting tool all the way to the very right end of this cutting tool. And of course, you can look at all of these dimensions that we really pay no attention to at all. That would be this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And of course, these that are showing dimensions in the opposite direction, but we're paying no attention to any of those because those are all contained within larger dimensions, or they are in the wrong dimension, going up and down as opposed to left or right. So the rest of the solution to this problem is to go ahead and carry out the addition. And note that each one of these units, or each one of the numbers we're adding together, has the units millimeters associated with it. So we're adding millimeters plus millimeters plus millimeters plus millimeters plus millimeters. That means we're going to get a result that has millimeters for units. And then the rest of the work is just to carry out the addition. Adding up the ones column first, 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4, plus 7 is 11, plus 5 is 16. So that is a 6 and a carry of a 1 into the tens column. Now add the tens column. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6. That gives you the tens digit that's in the answer. So 66 millimeters is the answer. And we're going to move on to look at some of the test problems that are at the end of this unit. These are from the text, page 11, and we'll work through them fairly quickly because I don't think anybody's going to be too terribly confused. We just want to cover them for completeness. And I've got my previously worked out answers here just to make sure I get the same answers this time through. Number 1, 5 plus 2 is 7. 6 plus 3 is 9. We could show these on a number line, but I'm sure it wouldn't be necessary. 8 plus 7 is 15. Notice I got a carry of 1 showed there, but we don't need to consider the carry because we're not adding it with anything else. So we'll just bring it straight down. 17 plus 9, well, 7 plus 9 is 16, so that's 6 carry the 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2, so we get a total of 26. Problem 5 is a bit more complicated. We start with the ones column. 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 4 is 19. 9 carry a 1 into the tens column. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So the tens digit is a 5. There is no carry, so we step over to the next position, which is the hundreds column. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So 859. Number 6, add the ones column first. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 7 is 11. 1, carry the 1, that's 11. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 9 is 13. So that's a 3, carry the 1. In the hundreds column, we just have a 1 plus 7 for 8. So the answer to that one would be 831. And I think I've got a mistake here. Let me go back and correct it quickly. In the tens column, 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 9 is 13. No, that is correct. 831 is correct. Number 7, in the ones column, 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 3 is 13. So that's 3, carry the 1. In the tens column, 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11. That's 1, carry a 1. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 9 is 15, plus 3 is 18. That's 8, carry the 1. And then over here in the thousands column, 1 plus 4 is 5. So the answer is 5,813. Number 8, 7 plus 9 is 16, plus another 7 is 23. So that's 3, carry a 2. 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 9 is 19, plus 9 is 27. 19, no, it's 28, sorry. Carry a 2. 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 9 is 15, plus 8 is 23. So I think the answer is 2,383. And in number 9, you notice that I make a mistake every once in a while too, so don't feel bad if you do. Adding the ones column, 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 1 is 7, plus 2 is 9. No carry. So in the tens column, we have 2 plus 4 for 6, plus 5 for 11, plus 2 for 13. 3, carry the 1. In the hundreds column, 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 4 is 12, plus 4 is 16. So that's 6, carry the 1. And in the thousands column, we have 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6. So the answer is 6,636. And finally, number 10, 43 plus 347 plus 516. We add the ones column first. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 6 is 16. So that's 6, carry a 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 4 is 9, plus 1 is 10. That's 0, carry a 1. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 5 is 14. So the answer is 1406 or 1406, whichever way you want to say it. And that brings us to the end of Unit 2.